last minute speculations for Ahsoka series. So they're talking about Sabine Wren, and she's one of the main characters in Ahsoka. I think that's awesome. Her uh, experience with the Force and what they've shown in the Rebels. Sabine trained with Kanan. She's never really shown any affinity for the Force in the Rebels, but Kanan would talk about how the Force is in all of us. It just needs to be unlocked. So he would kind of dismiss that she just absolutely doesn't have it. But then in the new Rebels series episode 2, or excuse me, Ahsoka series episode 2, Hu Yang says she has the lowest affinity ever. I think that's just kind of a pretty funny thing to say, but it's so blunt that I think there's something to it. And I'll talk about that in a second. We also know George Lucas has talked in the past about how he views the Force as like yoga, and you can need to just practice. But high midichlorian count has always been consistent with power, especially with like Anakin and the prophecy and whatnot. So many Force users have pursued midichlorian counts and how to manipulate them and done experiments with that. So it would just be so far against the grain for them to all of a sudden say the Force can just be unlocked in anyone, even though they haven't shown it or it's not measurable. So one of my speculations would be, I do not think she will use the Force in like a Force push, Force pull, Force jump type of way, that we're used to. But maybe we would see a new manifestation of the Force, like she has like Force art that is able to unlock things or produce art that does Force things, like some of the maps that have been produced in the past. She produces future ones. It's who knows, she plays like a role with her Force in a future episode, but I just do not think it'll come out in the classic way. The other speculation that I have is that they're so blunt about her being low in the Force that that is the advantage. That they get into a situation where there's a Force weapon or being that can negatively affect those with the Force, and Sabine is able to not be affected and save Ahsoka or Ezra. So I think there's a situation where that could be, what is good about being low in the Force. Why would they mention that so bluntly? Um, it also could just be portrayed as finding the Force as just kind of finding herself, and just kind of a feel good Star Wars story for all fans. And she just becomes the best Mandalorian she can be with her Mandalorian weapons. But I do think we're on the cusp of something new in some way. I think Dave Filoni has been kind of given the reins almost with Star Wars, and Ahsoka is heading in a new direction with a couple of things. I think this is the furthest we've gone with what is a Force and how can it be manifested in someone. They kind of briefly hinted at it with Finn, but haven't followed through on that story. I think they are going to try to follow through on this Ahsoka story. And then, they're going to another galaxy completely. So the Star Wars universe to me is expanding quickly. I think George Lucas might be passing the baton to Dave Filoni. I don't know. Let me know what you think about those Sabine Wren thoughts.